everybody, this is Courtney again from the Media Group. Today's video, I want to talk about what is a line item. So in our last video, we kind of talked about campaigns and how they represented the contract between the seller, or the one with the supply to sell, and the advertiser or the agency that represents any number of advertisers. And this is the kind of the groundwork that was necessary in order to understand more advanced concepts as we go along. And so now I want to talk about line items and what they have to do with a campaign order. And the value I want to extract from this is kind of how they work and how and why they're important to you. So one of the things, with that said, within the contract that you sign as a new website owner, you will begin to sign contracts or orders between the seller and the buyer. The seller in this instance would be the website owner, and the buyer would be the advertiser. And inside of that order or contract is what we would call a line item or line items. And these are the building blocks of the campaign. Okay, so these are more specifically tell the ad operations person, we call them traffickers. These are the people who manage the ad campaign. This information, this line item tells that trafficker how to set up the ad accurately. And what do I mean about setup? Well, as we talked about, the campaign order is an outline of the deal characteristics. And that deal contains necessary details like who sold the campaign, right? Or who is the advertiser? What's the name of the advertiser, local or national, right? So details like this go into setting up the campaign order. So within this order, again, are the line items, and these line items contain specifics like what section of the website the ad will display in. That's super important if you want the advertiser to display specifically in the sports section of your website, for example. So this is why setting up your inventory from day one is so crucially important. Now we covered this earlier, so for more information on that, I'll put the link below. But moving on from that, other information associated with the line item would be the flight date. So what is the flight date? The flight date determines how long the ad will be displayed for on the site. How long is the deal itself for, right? So you can have a deal go for a year, but ads switch out every month, for example. Should we swap out the creative depending on the day of the week or the day of the month? Where should the ad click to? And another one is, what priority should this particular ad have in relation to other ads that we have running at the same time? So all of this information is contained in the line item, right? Each of these line items contain information specific to that ad. And those ads are the building blocks of the order itself, or the contract. All right. So this is critical to understand so that the contract that you sign is represented correctly within the ad management system, and so that it is displayed across the site efficiently and accurately. Otherwise, you've got ads displaying when they shouldn't be, and it can become a mess. Doing this well will most certainly cut down on a lot of the confusion that can come up between the seller and the buyer, especially when the invoicing time comes around. All right. Another quick example would be a campaign with a local business, let's say. So we're thinking through this conceptually. The campaign name could be, let us say, Business X Summer Campaign. And within your ad server, Google Ad Manager likely, you will create the line items inside of the order that reflect the buyer's specific wishes. All right, so perhaps you have one line item that is a 728 by 90 sized rectangular ad unit that is targeted only to the home page. And then you have line item number 2, which is a 300 by 250 sized ad unit, ad unit that is targeted to both mobile and desktop users, but only to display on article pages, not the home page. And then you can have maybe a line item number 3, which is a mobile only ad unit that can run across all the available pages, and all lines will run for 30 days from the start date. So all of that is what the buyer wants, and you have to make sure to represent that in the ad server so that it runs on the site correctly. And so understanding line items will help to set this deal up very quickly, and it will give the buyer exactly what they're looking for. And then everybody's happy. So this is how and why line items are useful to the seller or the website owner. And by being clever about how you set up your inventory from the beginning, you can create simple or sophisticated line items, thereby making your inventory more valuable to your potential advertisers. So that's when you start getting fancy. In our next video, we'll dig a bit deeper into targeting capabilities of Google Ad Manager specifically and how to leverage those effectively. But for now, I'll leave you with that, and I hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.